Good afternoon. My name is Carol.fahy. I am a professional realtor in the state of Delaware. I am a member of Team First State Properties out of RE/MAX Premier Properties. I wanted to come to you today and talk to you about something I did in my previous career. I worked in the auto industry. And there was one question that every client used to ask. Why does it take 5 hours to buy a car? I don't want to be here anymore. Get me out of this dealership. And people will not answer this question because, quite frankly, the answer is not what people want to hear. And it can be considered controversial. But the truth of the matter is, you are getting in your own way when you're trying to buy a car. It is your own fault. Go look in a mirror. That's the reason it took 5 hours. Realistically, if you follow the process, it should take about 3 hours. That's never going to change. This is a reasonable amount of time you should expect to spend purchasing a car. Why? Because you're buying a car. You're not buying a t-shirt at Walmart where you can just take it back if it doesn't fit right or you don't like the way it looks in the mirror. You're buying a car. You are buying a piece of machinery that can kill somebody. So there are some processes and procedures in place to ensure everyone's safety. So let's start from the beginning. Customer comes onto the lot. Hi, my name's Carol. I'm one of the sales associates here. What's your name? I'm just looking. I don't want any help. Okay. Can I point you in the right direction? I'm just looking. Okay, no problem. I'll tell you what, I'll just stand over here. And if you have any questions, you let me know. Now, this is how you start your process with your sales associate. I promise you it's going to add time for several reasons. The biggest reason being, just tell me what you need. Why are you going to waste 15, 20 minutes walking around the lot to try and find what it is you're looking for when you could just tell me and I'd say, hey, it's right over there. Well, I don't want to push you, salesperson. I wasn't being pushy. I was just asking you how I could help you. Instead of being a dick, you could have just said, hey, you know what? I would like to see an SUV. I'm looking for an SUV. Okay, there's 3 rows of SUVs over here. You have your smaller SUVs, then your medium, then your large size. How many people are you looking to seat in the SUV? A simple conversation can shave off 15, 20 minutes of waste my time walking around the lot. Because what ends up happening is you're never going to find them. There's hundreds upon hundreds of cars. You're going to walk around. Then you're going to get frustrated that you can't find what you're looking for. And then you're going to take that out on me when it's not my fault. I asked you how I could help. Just be honest with the person that you're working with. You'd be surprised how quickly you can get through the process if you're just honest with the person who's trying to help you. Are there going to be some jerk-offs out there? Absolutely. But there's jerk-offs in every industry. What do you do for a living? There's jerk-off doctors, there's jerk-off lawyers, there's, jerk-off cashiers, sales, like it doesn't matter. There's these idiots in every industry. So don't let the fact that you dealt with one person 20 years ago shade how you're doing things today. Above that, most people, when you talk to them personally, have not had a bad experience buying cars, but they have bought into the mindset that there's going to be a bad experience. And so they create their own bad experience by coming in and being rude. Completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. Now, let's go through this a little further. Okay, you're looking for an SUV. Well, all the SUVs are right over here. How much were you looking to spend today? Don't worry about it. Okay, here we go. Let's waste another 15, 20 minutes because what's going to happen is you're going to walk around and look at vehicles. You're not going to look at the price tag. You're going to want to test drive a car that's out of your budget. And then you're going to be like, well, I want this one. Okay, great. Here's the payment. Oh, well, the payment's $450. I only wanted to spend $325. Well, then why are you looking at a car that's $450 a month? Oh, well, I just thought they would take the money off. Why? Why would you think that? On what planet does that happen? Is there room to negotiate? Yes. Is there room to negotiate $125 worth of payment? Not anywhere on the planet. Take $100 over 72 months. How much is that? $77,000. Who has $7,000? Are you crazy? Listen, you have to be realistic in your expectations. If you're realistic in your expectations, you are more likely to find what you're looking for faster. Okay, let's move on. Now you pulled in a jalopy that has a donut on it, a window that doesn't open. Like you can tell you want to trade this car. Do you have a trade-in today? No. Okay, no problem. I just want to know how much this is going to be. Sure, no problem. Here it is. Oh, well, that's too much. I didn't want to spend that much. Okay, well, how much were you looking to spend? Well, I was only looking to spend $20,000. Well, then why are you looking at a $30,000 vehicle? So you are wasting your own time. You're wasting your own time. Stop. Just stop. Stop wasting your own time and then blaming it on everybody else. When somebody comes up to you at a car lot and they offer to help you, just talk to them. Hey, you know what? This is what I'm looking for. Try being honest through the process. You're so worried that somebody else might lie to you that you're lying to them every step of the way and you're adding time to the clock. Now, okay, great. I don't want to spend, I want to spend 20,000, not 30,000. Okay, great. Let's go back out and look at more cars and we'll find the right one for you. Okay, great. So now we go do that. There's another hour. So the hour we spent, the first hour looking at vehicles was a complete waste of time because you're looking at vehicles that are out of your own price range and it's nobody's fault but your own. But nobody will tell you that because we're afraid to tell you. Because if they're honest with you, you might not buy a car from them. Okay, great. So now we got to spend another hour finding the right car that's actually in the price point that you want to be in. Okay, we go to all that. Then I used to love this. And we always knew it was coming. Well, I do want to trade my car. Can you tell me how much it's worth? And the keys would hit the table. Now you've just added more time to your own process. You see, because what happens is if you're like, hey, I want to trade my car. Okay, great. We're going to get all that information and we're going to give that to my appraisal manager while we're out looking at cars. So we're kind of killing two birds at one stone. But no. Somewhere on the interwebs, because we always believe what the interwebs has to say, somewhere on the interwebs it said, don't tell them you have a trade because they might make money. It's a car dealership. It's a business. They're here to make money. But why are you lying? That's not going to stop them from making money, A. And B, it's not going to change the value of your car. Your car's worth what it's worth. Okay, I have a trade. No problem. Now we get all this out. Now I have to take this to the appraisal manager. Now, most times when you're in a dealership, you're not the only person there. So what happens is now your appraisal goes to the back of the line. You don't get to just jump in line in front of everybody else because you've picked your car. See, that's not how this works. You're going to go to the back of the appraisal line. So if there's 3 people in a dealership and all 3 of them have a vehicle that's being appraised, 2 of those people are out looking at their vehicles, but they're already in the appraisal line. You've already looked at, test drove it, and picked your vehicle, and now you're going in the appraisal line. You are now waiting. It's just the way it is. Nobody's going to cater to rushing you through the process because you want to lie every step of the way. Okay, so then now we give you the value of the vehicle. You know how much the car is worth. You Kelly Blue booked it before you left your house. You know that car is only worth $2,000. Oh, I can't believe you want to give me $2,000. That car's worth $3,000 at least. On what planet? Okay, so now we waste time and we do this, maybe get you another $100, fine, no problem, because the dealer doesn't want to lose your business over $100, but they can't give you more than a vehicle's worth. Okay, great. Sure. Now, initially you said you were paying cash for this. Do you have your checkbook with you? Oh, no, I'm going to finance. Why wouldn't you just say that? Okay, great. Let me get you a credit application. Now we get the client a credit application. Let me tell you what happened 99% of the time. Do you know, it amazed me how many people would come in to buy a car and completely not be ready. Completely not be ready. They're filling out the credit application. They leave 90% of the information off. Oh, I'm sorry. You missed your salary. Well, why do they need to know that? Because you're borrowing money from a bank and they have a right to know how much money you make and when you get paid, and they have a right to know if you can pay them back. That's why. Okay, well, because the bank wants to make sure that it's going to fall within your, your available income that you can pay for the car. Ugh. Well, just put 30,000. Well, is that how much you make? Well, what does it matter? Why does it have to be an argument? Why can't you just be honest on the credit application about the information that the bank wants? It's not like there's some secret room in the back where there's a bunch of goblins running around that are going to take your information and run around the world with it. In fact, it's quite the opposite. We have to put this information in because if it deviates from anything else that's been put in prior, it's going to throw up a red flag, which is going to trigger for your safety when it comes to identity theft. But because you're so busy being combative and you're so busy being argumentative and you're so busy lying through every step of the process, you don't even realize you're tacking extra time on. Because if we told the bank that you make $30,000 and you actually only make $20,000, you've lied to the bank, which is a lie, which is a problem, which means your loan will be given to you under false pretense, which means they can come take the car back at any time. Oh, okay. Well, hold on. I don't know how much I make. Okay. Do you get paid hourly or do you get paid salary? I get paid hourly. Okay, great. How much do you make an hour? I don't know. I think $23 an hour. You think you make $23 an hour, or you do make $23 an hour? Hold on, I'll have to look it up. And now they're getting an attitude with me. It is not my fault that you do not know how much money you make. In fact, it's a little alarming, but that's a whole other topic for a different day. So you finally narrow down how much money they make, you get it on a credit application, and then you say, inevitably this conversation would take place. I see here that you've put your cell phone number under your phone number and your work's phone number. I need your actual number to your job. Well, why do you need that? Because the bank requires to have the phone number to your employer, because they're going to verify your employment. Oh, well, I don't want them to do that. It doesn't matter what you want. You're borrowing money from a bank. They have a right to ask you these questions. So then it comes down to this. They don't know the phone number. 99% of the time when somebody argued with me about putting their employer's phone number on a credit app, it's because they didn't know the darn number. So then I would say, okay, listen, if you had to call out of work because you had an emergency, what number would you call? Oh, okay. And they'd have it in their phone. Now, mind you, we've added time in the beginning because we said we didn't need help. We've added time because we didn't want to disclose how much money we wanted to spend on a car, because somehow I have a magical elixir that's going to get you to spend more than that. Okay, so that was a waste of an hour. Now we're wasting another 15 minutes doing the credit application. When you start adding this up, we have an hour and a half minimum that we have now wasted in the 5-hour process for you to buy a car for no other reason than you're being rude. I don't understand what takes place in people's minds when they go into a dealership and they feel like they can talk to you like you are the scum of the earth. But I promise you, after 15 years in the industry, and one of the biggest reasons that I left the finance department was because people feel like they can talk to you however they want to talk to you. You will see this nice, calm, demeanored woman with her family. She's all nice and sweet. But I promise you, when she comes into a car dealership, she's a bitch on wheels. And she's talking to everybody like they're a dog. And she's just being combative through the entire process. I hate car dealers. Why? Why do you hate car dealers? Have you really ever had a bad experience in a car dealer, or have you created your own bad experience in a car dealer? I would challenge you to sit down and have that conversation with yourself. And the next time you go to the dealer, try to be a little less combative and honest, and tell me how that experience went, because I guarantee you it goes much better. Just because you're honest with the person that you're dealing with at the dealership and you're not combative doesn't mean you won't get a good deal. In fact, I promise you, if there's a deal, they will help you find it. But because you come in and you've done nothing but lie and be combative and just be a nightmare to deal with, they're not going to bend over backwards to try and help you save money. They're just not going to do it. So odds are you spent more money the day you walked into that dealership lying, just because nobody cared at that point. They just wanted to help you buy your car and send you on your way because you're just being rude and you're lying to us every step of the way. You're adding extra time. You're being combative. And all you did was waste your own time, because I'm going to be there regardless. And that was the best part. I didn't care. I was here for 12 hours today. What do I care if I have to spend an extra 2 hours with this person? Because they want to go through the process and be combative. I used to laugh and joke about it and not care. But you have these people, and then so now let's just keep going. Okay, so you finally get all the information on the credit app and you give that, and now they want to start huffing and puffing. What's taking so long? I picked the car. I signed the paper. Why can't I just leave? Well, because now we have to secure your loan with the bank. And this entails several steps. First, we have to run you through an OFAC list. Yes, we have to make sure you're not a terrorist because it's the law. Then we have to make sure that you did not raise any red flags when you filled out your credit application. So, Karen, if you filled your credit app out and you didn't pay attention to what you were doing and you've pulled up a red flag, it's going to stop the entire process, because there are processes in place to make sure that you are not being a victim of identity theft. So by you just haphazardly filling out your credit app, and we put that information in on the credit bureau and the credit app, a red flag came up and it said, oh, this doesn't match. Why doesn't this match? So now they want to ask you more questions. And the people would actually have the audacity to get mad at us. We don't make this process. This process is in place to protect you. If you had taken the time to fill the credit application out properly, instead of being combative about it, none of this would have happened. But instead, you've just added 15 to 30 minutes to your process for no other reason than you just want to argue with us about every little step of the way. It's wasting your own time. Now let's go on. Finance department is taking care of what they got to take care of. We got to start talking about car insurance. Okay, I need your car insurance. I need you to call your car insurance. My car insurance. Why do you have to call my car insurance? Because you're buying a car. And we have to make sure by law that that car is insured before you can drive off the lot. Well, I'll call them later. No, you won't. We're going to call them now because we have to. There's two things taking place when you're buying a car when it comes to your car insurance. A, we are required by law to make sure that you have car insurance. We're required by law. And B, we have a contractual obligation to the bank to make sure that you have full coverage in place before you drive away, because they have a vested interest in your car. So they have a right to make sure that you have full coverage, which we're going to be required to provide to them. So instead of arguing about why we have to do it, have your car insurance. Let's just make the phone call and get it done. Yes, it's going to take time, but it'll take less time if you just stopped arguing about it. Okay. So now we get them on the phone with the car insurance, cars going back to detail, cars getting a full tank of gas. Now they go in to sign the paperwork. You know, that takes anywhere, when you sign the paperwork, it can take anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes, depends on the Q&A process. Some people have more questions, some people have less. There's really no way to speed that along. Yes, they are going to go over options with you of things that you can buy, again, required by law, because inevitably, if you drive out of the car dealership and your car is totaled, all right, let's say you're 8 miles from the dealership and somebody sideswipes you and totals the car and you didn't buy gap coverage. And the insurance company says, oh, well, that car is only worth $14,000 because it's no longer a brand new car. It's now used. You drove it off the car lot, but you didn't buy the gap coverage. Guess who's responsible for that difference? You are. And so we are required to make sure that you're aware of the fact that you have these options available to you. Everybody's like, well, I don't want to hear it. Okay. You certainly are entitled to not purchase anything, but you have to at least sign off that well, I don't want to sign that. Why are you arguing? Why are you adding time to this process for no other reason than to just be combative? It's part of the process. It has to be done. If you would just do it, we could all move along. Then we get out to the car and I say, hey, do you want me to show you the features and controls? No, it's a car. I've had 100. I know how to do this. And they drive away. Inevitably, they come back the next day. Well, nobody showed me. Bitch. So that, my friends, is why it takes 5 hours to buy a car. Because the people who come in there and they're combative and they're argumentative and they just want to lie to you every step of the way and just make everything a fuss and a muss, it tacks time onto it. Because here's the thing. If you're a 700 credit score and you have your act together and you walk into a car dealership, you can be out in 2 to 3 hours. That's really the shortest amount of time you can get it. People come into a car dealership. They've done a lot of research on the internet, which is great. The problem with that is J.D. Powers actually did a survey. 70% of the people who researched their car online said, I'm leaving my house. I'm going to pick a car at the top of my head. I'm going to buy this Ford Explorer. They get into the dealership, 70%, staggering, right? 70% did not buy the vehicle they went to buy, because the minute they got to that vehicle, it wasn't what they thought that it was going to be. You can see all the research, that's great, but you can't see the vehicle, you can't touch the vehicle, you can't sit in the vehicle. So then you show up to the lot, it's too big, it's too small, it's too round, it's too square, it doesn't look how you thought it was going to look, it doesn't have the options you thought it was going to have. There are a lot of checks in that box that can get checked. And 70% of consumers going into a dealership are checking them. So here's my advice. If you don't want it to take 5 hours to buy a car, here's the things you should do to get it down to 3 hours. A, isolate what type of vehicle that you want. In terms of, do I want a car? Do I want an SUV? Do I want a truck? Great. Narrow down your price point. If you want to spend $20,000, you reasonably should be looking at cars that are priced between $21,000 and $23,000. Sometimes you can go up to $24,000 if you're looking at like a Chevy. It's because they're garbage. You shouldn't buy one, but they have more incentives from the factory. But to go in and look at a $30,000 vehicle and expect to get it for $20,000, you're setting yourself up for a fall because you're being unrealistic. But don't lose sight of the fact that there are a couple $1,000s in savings available to you. You can go to TrueCar, or you can do the same thing and just go directly to the internet department of the dealership and submit for pricing on the car, so that you can just learn how much of a savings that you can get. When you go to the dealership, have your driver's license. Yes, People would show up to buy a car without a driver's license and then get mad at you. Have your driver's license, have your current car insurance with phone numbers of people that you can call to get your insurance updated. Make sure your driver's license has your current and correct address on it. Have 2 most recent pay stubs, because that's going to have all the information on it that you're going to need to fill out the credit application. If you're paying cash, have a checkbook with you and have a phone number to somebody that can be reached at the bank to verify funds. Yes, they're going to want to verify funds. It's a thing, right? Because people come in, they give you a check, it bounces, it's fraud, it's theft, it's blah, 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 blah. Not going to happen. When you get to the dealership, don't lie to the sales associate. I'm going to challenge you to go through a process one time like this and tell me you didn't have a better experience. Don't lie to the sales associate. When you go up and they introduce themselves and they say, can I help you? Say, yes, this is what I'm here. This is what I want to look at. Look at those vehicles, test drive them. Make sure that you're getting the right vehicle. When they give you the credit application, be prepared to fill it out in its entirety, sign it, do everything that they're asking you to do. When you go through the process, buy what they're offering, don't buy what they're offering, whatever it is, don't argue about it. Just sign what they need you to sign and move along. You should be out of there in 2 to 3 hours max. Max. That is how you shave 2 to 3 hours off the car buying process. I know it's not what you wanted to hear today, but to be honest, if you just listen to the advice, I promise you're going to have a better buying experience and you're not going to have to, go through those extra hours. One of the other things that I would recommend is try to find the person in the dealership that sells the most cars. You can usually do this by just asking, who's your top salesperson? Can I help you today? Sure. Who's your top salesperson? Mark. Great. Is Mark in today? He is. Can I work with him? Sure. And they just go get Mark for you. When it was me, to be honest, when I was in the dealership, I would have been the name. Carol's our top salesperson. Great. Can I work with her? Sure. And I say that because I don't want to knock the people who aren't the top on the sales boards, but those of us who were the top, we generally had our shit together. So we were more organized and we were ready for if somebody wanted to buy a car, and we could get them through the process a little quicker because we had our own processes in place. If you have a little time to kill, spend some time with somebody who's new. Let them get their experience, but most people don't want to spend time doing that. So just ask for the top salesperson and that'll help you shave a little time off the process as well. I wish you luck buying a car. Obviously, if you think that I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below, because you know what? I'm going to share this on my YouTube channel. So let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm coming to you from 15 years experience. So please share your experience when you share your opinion as well. I look forward to battling it out down there. Thanks for watching.